Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Michael K's Part 6 talk of the Richmond Football Club, and your host and producer, first of all, Mr. Ben L, and your host tonight, the one, the only, the proud Richmond supporter, Michael K.
Thank you, Ben. What an introduction. I'll tell you, that kid, he certainly knows how to make an impact. The only problem, he barracks for Essendon. But I'll say this for young Ben Al, he's a good fella, and he stuck by me. Stuck by me through all of this, and just think, if it wasn't for Ben Al, I wouldn't be in your living rooms talking to you now. How about that? Anyway, on to football. On to Richmond. I'm still smiling. You probably thought I rode off into the sunset. We lost the first 9 games, and I think I did my part 5 talk after we had lost 9 games in a row. People were laughing at us, and you probably thought I chucked it in. Well, I'll tell you what, I almost had. Then I happened to go overseas, and I come back and they've won 5 games in a row. They beat the likes of Port Adelaide, Sydney Swans, Brisbane Bears, Freo. Good teams. Okay, they haven't beaten your Geelong or St Kilda yet, but all of a sudden there's a bit of pep in our step. We've got some young fellas who are stepping up to the plate. Guys like Dustin Martin, Matty White. There's a guy, Webley. He looks really good. He's a dasher. Jake King, the much maligned Jake King. All of a sudden, he's starting to make an impact. They were poking fun of him at one stage, but his skill level has improved and is an important cog in our wheel. Likewise, Benny Cousins. I can't say enough for Benny Cousins. He brings players in from all around him. He brings players into the game. He's a creative player. He's got a football brain. So, like I say, there are some good signs. We're starting to get, as Damien Hardwick said, we're starting to get a bit of belief in ourselves. And that's a sign of a good footy club. We've got Angus Graham, the Goose Graham. He's starting to show what he's made of. So there are some good signs. There's a bit of aggression there now. There's a bit of the old arrogance that's coming out, which we haven't had for a while. Delidio, he's starting to make an impact. He's starting to show some sort of leadership qualities. So, my friends, it's looking good. I just feel that we can only go further. I've got young Ben Al in the background. He's playing the club song. That's not in the script, my friends. I wish he wouldn't do these things, but anyway, that's the way it goes. Maybe just a couple of others that are worthy of mention. You've got Shane Edwards, and you've got a young boy, Robert Hicks. He played well last weekend against Adelaide. He played a wonderful first up game. And so I can only see things improving. You've got Jumping Jack. He only kicked 2 goals, but he does the team things. He does the 1%ers. And he is showing that he'll only get better. Now, the teams, I mean, occasionally we need to find other avenues to goal when Jack's not playing so well. But last weekend, I think we had 13 goal kickers. Now, that's a good sign because Jumping Jack only kicked 2 goals. Now, that means that there's other players around that forward line who are also capable of kicking goals. So you always need a plan B if plan A doesn't work. That's about as much as I can tell you about the Richmond Football Club. We are a team on the move. We're really going places. I've got a very good feeling about next season. All right, this season's done and dusted. We're not going to do much good. We're a bit like, you know, your Essendons and 1 or 2 others who they might be fantasising about getting into the finals, but it's just not going to happen. They won't, but who knows what can happen next season. And we are the youngest team in the competition, and things are looking good. So that's about it. Normally I don't comment about any other teams or any other players of any other teams, because Richmond is my area of expertise. Richmond's the club that I'm good at. That's the club that I know. That's the club where my heart is. But just a couple of things. ACCA. I just feel that when you're part of a team, you're part of that team on the field and off the field. No one's got carte blanche to say what they like. So I'm sure David and the boys, they would have done a lot of soul searching before they did what they did. So ACCA, I think just cop it sweet, mate. No good doing interviews and whinging and groaning now. Cop it sweet, and good luck for the future. But obviously the Bulldogs in their wisdom felt that you weren't wanted there. And far be it for me to comment on the guys at the Bulldogs, because I think they know what they're doing. And I suppose to Mickey Malthouse, he seems to have a bit to say. Mickey, an expert on international affairs you are not. So when you start drawing parallels with Winston Churchill and with the Iraq War, as in you are making comments about interchange rotations, and if I could draw a parallel, and you're Stephen Milne, you brought up Winston Churchill, I think just don't stick to your football, mate, because I think that's what you're reasonably good at. And let me just say this, I think Collingwood are making you look a good coach, and I think it's a bit overrated, the influence that coaches have on football teams. I think the players can make the coach either look good or bad. I think in Collingwood's case, they're making Mickey Malthouse look pretty good at the moment. Conversely, I think in St Kilda's case, they're making Ross Lyon look not so good. And it's not always the coach's fault whether the team does well or whether it does bad. So, fellas, I should say ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, I was put off by some background music there. I can listen to the Richmond Football Club song any time, excepting that sometimes young Benny, in his exuberance, he just goes a bit overboard. But let me say this, I just repeat again, my friends. I am still smiling. I think that Richmond, they're coming around, they're starting to show what they're made of. So, with that, thank you. This is part 6. Thank you for being so loyal, and look forward to having you next time. Thank you. Bye.
Well done. Congratulations to Mr. Michael Kay. Congratulations, Michael. It's been an absolute honour having him in the show and trying to wham my hand into the table, I should say. Great players from Richmond and Essendon. You should have seen the Friday night match. Essendon defeating the St Kilda by 33 points.
My friends, he's trying to sabotage things again. This is Richmond's gig. This show is about Richmond. If he wants to do an Essendon thing, he can do it. But let me say this, it's a Richmond thing. But I do respect the fact he's been a wonderful executive producer, cameraman, mentor, all-round Mr. Nice Guy. But let me say, sometimes he just gets a little bit carried away. He's a young fella, but he's going places. He's an apprentice electrician, he's got a girlfriend, and he's starting to...
And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going.
Anyway, thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
Michael Kay. Part 6. Come back. That was Michael Kay, Part 6, by the way. You should really be admired by that. See ya. We need to lift our game, at least give the guys some confidence and play some of these established players that I mentioned to at least try and get the odd win on the board, just to give